What's going on, guys? My name is James Livingston. Today we're going to be talking about the 3 platforms or prop firms that I personally recommend when it comes to futures trade. Let's get right on into this. So starting off here on the left side of my tabs here, we're going to start off with Topstep. Now Topstep is probably the most well-known prop firm out there when it comes to futures trading. And the reason for that, just simply put, is they have probably the most experience in the futures game. They are definitely one of the most legit firms. They pay out, and the rules are pretty straightforward. So the rules here for Topstep are pretty simple. You have a 50K account, a 100K account, and a 150K account, ranging from $50 all the way up to $150 for the accounts. Now with most firms, you're going to have some sort of a combine. You're going to have some sort of a evaluation phase, a challenge phase in order to get started that you're going to need to pass in order for the firms to be like, you know what, yes, we do want to give this guy a chance or this girl a chance to be able to trade with our capital. Now most challenge sizes are going to range anywhere from $50,000 up to a max of $200,000 on most firms. Now the rules are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You have a profit target on the lower account, the 50K of 3,000, 6,000 on the 100K, and then 9,000 on the 150K. This is your target that you need to hit in order to pass the challenge and move on to funded. Now there's a couple caveats. You have a maximum position size of 5 contracts on the 50K, 10 contracts on the 100K, and 15 contracts on the 150K, as well as micro contracts, which are just a tenth of the size of these. So you just multiply this number by 10. That would give you the amount of contracts that you're able to trade here with Topstep for the micro side. Now you also do have a maximum loss limit on these accounts. So the maximum that you can lose before they're going to be like, hey, you need to take a break, you need to start over, get a new challenge. And that amount on the 50K is 2,000, 3,000 for the 100K, and then 4,500 for the 150K. Now on all of these accounts, once you do pass the challenge and meet the profit target goal, you will have a $149 activation fee in order to get into your what they call express funded account, or for shorter, just a funded account. So pretty straightforward rules. Topstep does offer a very good platform, as well as another firm I'm going to talk about here, in Platform X or Project X, which I have done a video on and walking over exactly how that platform is ran. So definitely check that out below in the description. You can see exactly how Platform X runs. Very TradingView-esque, so if you're used to trading on TradingView, it's going to be a breeze for you. Now that's Topstep. Let's move on over to TopOneFutures. Now TopOneFutures is kind of one of the more new kids on the block, if you will, when it comes to futures. They're very well known in the Forex space, being Top One Trader, but in the future space, they are fairly new. They had just started here in April of 2025. And personally, they're probably the one that I like the most. Topstep is definitely the most renowned. However, with Top One, they are definitely kind of coming up, and really honestly easy rules to follow. And the big thing that sets these guys apart from Topstep and the other firm I'm going to talk about is access to the instant sim funded. So this basically means you can skip the evaluation phase, you can go straight into funded. They have 2 different versions of them. Now we're going to go over the different account sizes, different account ranges, pricing, etc., so you can see exactly why one could fit your style better than the other. Now the one-step elite challenge, this is going to be your equivalent of Top One's challenges in terms of, now your one-step elite challenges, this is going to be your equivalent to the Topstep combines in the fact of you have to pass a challenge in order to get to the funded phase. Now slightly different rules and a slightly lower account size you can go with here. They do offer a $25,000 account with TopOneFutures for $34 a month right now using the code FREEDOM. Now I will say if you use code JAMES, you will get a slightly better discount than the 50%. So definitely use code JAMES when it comes to TopOneFutures. Yes, I am an affiliate with TopOneFutures, but I'm very straightforward, very honest when it comes to these firms. You know, right now, I think that there's another firm that is offering a better deal, or was offering a better deal, I should say. But right now, Top One's actually very competitive. Profit target on the 25K account is going to be $1,500. Daily loss limit, they do not have a daily loss limit right now. There are none across the board on all these accounts. Now you do have a max drawdown on the 25K of 1,000, 2,000 on the 50K, 3,000 on the 100, and 45 on the 150K. So very similar to Topstep's rules. Drawdown mode, essentially end of day drawdown, the way it's calculated is based on when you end the day, whatever your balance is at, it will calculate your drawdown. It'll move your drawdown up if you are in profits, or if you are just down on the day, you will just stay at the exact same. There are some firms out there, and even a challenge here, where they do a trailing style drawdown, which basically follows your balance at its highest point. There's a way to work around it, but they are tougher to deal with, I will admit. Max contract size on the 25K is going to be 1 mini or 10 micros. 50K, 100K, and 150K are going to be exactly the same as Topstep's. We have 5 minis, 50 micros, 10 minis, 100 micros, and 15 minis, 150 micros. Now, one of the differences here, one of the key differences between Topstep and Top One is there is a 50% consistency rule when it comes to Topstep. You cannot make more than 50% of the total $3,000 profit in one day. Otherwise, you may be subject to having to make a little bit more in order to pass the challenge. With Top One, you can pass in exactly 1 day. So if by chance you catch a trade where you do make that full $1,500 on a 25K account, you can pass that same exact day. Same thing with the 50K account. If you do make the full $3,000 in that 1 day, you can pass, so on and so forth. So there is no consistency rule when it comes to the evaluation phase. So you can see here, consistency on challenge, none across the board. Now, once you get to funded, there is a consistency on funded of 25%. What this basically means is there is a certain threshold, which you'll have to go through the FAQs on TopOneFutures to see, but there's a certain threshold you need to get to on your funded account in order to be eligible to take a payout. Your best day or your most profitable day in relation to the amount of profits you have on the account cannot equal more than 25%. So it's not too difficult to understand. Basically, on like a 50K account, I don't know the exact rules off the top of my head, but let's just say you need at least $3,500 in the account in order to take a payout. That means that your best day in the funded account cannot exceed more than 25% of that $3,500 total. So in that case, in that example, if my math is correct, that would mean that you cannot have more than, is it $800? I think it's about $800. I might be a little bit off there. But basically, whatever 25% of your total profits is when it comes to requesting payout, you must be underneath the 25% threshold, which they will let you know in the dashboard pretty updated on time. So you won't have to really worry about trying to calculate it out yourself. Just follow the rules and you'll see for yourself on your dashboard. Reset fee, you do have a slightly cheaper reset fee when it comes to if you do fail the challenge, you can reset it for a lesser amount. And then of course you do have an activation fee as well when it comes to moving from the evaluation over to the funded. You'll see that it's $149 just like Topstep on these accounts. Now, minimum trading days to pay out on the elite challenges. When you do pass these, you do have to wait 10 days until payout. So basically, you have to have 10 trading days in between payouts in order to be eligible. So you have to meet the consistency requirement as well as have traded 10 days. And the maximum accounts you can have funded at any given point for these is 3. Now let's move on over to the more enticing part, I would say, of TopOneFutures, being that they do offer some instant sim funded accounts. So you can basically go straight to the funded phase, skip over the challenge phase, and just get right to working on your consistency, working on your minimum days to trade for payout. So it's the same thing for the days to pay out, about 10. Consistency rule is the only thing that slightly changes here. It's a slightly more strict 20% when you do go straight to funded. Now everything else here does stay the same, still no daily loss limit, as well as the max drawdown being an end of day. So it does calculate at the very end of the day, it does not trail with the balance. And it does look like the drawdowns are exactly the same as the elite challenge phases. Contract sizes are all the same as well as your max accounts. This is just an easy way to be able to skip straight to funded, which some people, want to skip that evaluation phase. Maybe they have a strategy that works very well for them, is very profitable, and they would like to just go straight into trying to get to payout. Now, one of the newer ones that Top One has introduced is called their straight to funded Sim Pro account. Now, this is where things get a little bit different. You're going to notice that pricing on these is a lot cheaper comparatively to the other instant sim fund. It's about half the price. Now, the biggest difference here is you're going to have the daily loss limit is not there like normal. The trailing max drawdown now is going to be actually intraday. It's not going to be calculated at the end of the day. It's going to be calculated during the day. So as you make profits, your drawdown amount is going to move up with your account throughout the day. So it's a little bit tougher to manage, but not impossible. Now, with these ones also, currently, they are offering a little bit more drawdown room. So you can see even with 150K accounts, they're offering upwards of $6,000 in room there, which is impressive. They do still offer the same amount of contract sizes. Minimum trading days is still 10. Now, the biggest difference here, the two biggest differences I should say, is one, you have a max accounts of 9 accounts. So you can trade up to 9 of these. That expands the amount of money that you can possibly make by so much more. Now, the equity stability score. This is where a lot of people will get confused. So the equity stability score is basically the combined total of your most profitable trading day and your largest losing day. Must not exceed 20% of your total profits during the payout period. So the easiest way to calculate this is figure out how much on each of these accounts based on the FAQs, how much profit you need to be at in order to meet your minimum threshold to take a payout in the first place. The combined of your largest winning day and the combined of your largest losing day do not exceed 20% of that total. So requests, I might go over it a little bit more in depth, but it's a little bit different. It's definitely a little bit more difficult to manage, I would say, but it's not impossible. You know, with these accounts, definitely not impossible to make it through these. You just need to be a little bit more calculated, a little bit more precise, but the cost barrier to entry on these is insanely good. So like I said, use the code James in your description. Click the link or choose James at checkout. You'll get a slightly better deal than whatever they're offering on the website. I believe it's an extra 5% for just using my code. So definitely it pays to use the code, not just because I'm an affiliate, but it really does get you more. So definitely look into that. Top One Futures right there. And finally, the last one here that we're going to go over is FunderProFutures. Now, FunderPro is heavily known in the Forex community for one of their biggest things, which is daily rewards. So what this means is their daily payout system. Now, in Forex, when you pass their challenge phase, you are able to make payouts immediately, daily, as many times a day as you want, which is so awesome. Now, with their futures section, it's a little bit different. You can get funded in as little as 3 days due to their 45% consistency rule in the evaluation phase. The daily pause, so they have a daily pause. So essentially, basically how these ones have no daily loss limit, FunderPro does have a daily loss limit, but it doesn't breach the account. It essentially just pauses you for the day, lets you come back the next day, etc. And then they have no trailing drawdown while in profit. So basically, their drawdown is also end of day, so you don't have to worry about the drawdown until the end of the day when it calculates. You see here the maximum drawdown will be trailed based on your end of day balance until it reaches your starting balance, at which point it becomes fixed. So once you get to that 100K or 50K in profit, or move the account up that far, your end of day will no longer trail. Now, when it comes to their accounts, these ones are going to be a little bit more on the pricey side. Nothing crazy. I mean, in comparison to the other ones, they're honestly not that bad, maybe slightly more. Now, the only difference with FunderProFutures is the platform that they use. They do not use Platform X. They do not use any kind of trading view. It's more Quant Tower, Volume Sys, Volumetrica, Volume Book. So if you like using those like book ones where you have the orbs, etc., this is a good one to use. The web platform is okay. It's not amazing, but there are some benefits to these guys that I'm going to go over here in just a second. So monthly fee, you know, again, I do have a code James L. You can use that. You'll get 10% off. So take this $79 down to $71 for the initial fee. Then you have your $129 activation fee. So slightly less activation fee, but when you really do the math, it's about the same as the other two firms. You do have 5 minis and 50 micros when it comes to the 50K. Profit target is 3,000. Daily pause, like I said, not a hard breach. It is a soft breach of the account, so it just pauses you, is 1,000 per day, and then max drawdown of a total 2,000. You have unlimited time to do this challenge. Now, it will rebill you monthly still, so that still rebills, but you do have unlimited time here. Now, the profit share, you do have a 60% for the first payout, 70% for the second, 80% for the third, and then after your third payout, you do get daily payouts. So at that point, there's no longer the 5 days of plus 200 in order to get to a payout, which is what's required here. You have to have 5 $200 days, not necessarily consecutive, but in total 5 $200 days before you can request a payout. Once you get past the third one, you are eligible to receive daily payouts, which is a huge thing. They're kind of bringing it over from their Forex platform to the future, so it's cool to see there. It's a nice little reward for getting past those 3 payouts. Now, like I said, consistency rule, you do have 45% consistency. So basically just saying if daily profit exceeds 45% of the target, then you will possibly need to make a little bit more. So nothing too crazy, not that big of a deal. And then of course you do have a reset fee, so slightly less reset fee, just like Top One had for their challenges, where it's just a slight less reset fee, so you can actually, get into the account again, try it again real quick, etc., etc. So with FunderProFutures, like I said, it's a slightly different program platform, so it's a little bit different to get used to. However, I still think that they're definitely worth giving a shot. You might like the platform, you might like the structure that they give, and they are one of the only ones here that does offer up to $200,000 for a futures account. So definitely worth giving them a look. But that's going to be it, guys. That is Topstep, TopOneFutures, and FunderProFutures. 3 of the ones that I do recommend. I do have affiliates and links for discounts in my description. The only one that does not offer an affiliate program, so I'm not a part of it, is Topstep. But for TopOneFutures, I have a code that'll get you an extra 5% on every challenge. And then on FunderProFutures, I do have a discount code that'll give you 10% off of each challenge. So definitely check those out. James for TopOneFutures and James L for FunderProFutures. So please, if you guys did enjoy this video and you want to check out one of these firms, let me know in the comment. Let me know which one you guys are going to go with. I'd love to hear just different opinions on these and see what you guys are thinking about them. Obviously, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy this, and subscribe if you are new for more futures and trading educational content. And I will talk to you in the next video. Peace.